From CBS News Bay Area, this is the Afternoon Edition.
Right now on the Afternoon Edition, police move in and take back a once tranquil square, then dubbed Zombie Park in San Francisco, arresting dozens of people for doing and selling drugs.
And this is a message that I want everybody in the city to hear. If you are selling drugs in this city, we are coming after you.
Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm Ann Magovic. A real show of force from the SFPD to end what officials are calling a whack-a-mole battle against illegal drug markets across the city. Last night, several city departments conducted a large-scale operation at San Francisco's Jefferson Square Park. It ended with 84 people in handcuffs. Officers and deputies stormed the park, clearing out the public space that has become a haven for drugs and illegal vending. City law enforcement says the operation is a product of a new effort to stomp out illegal activity that seems to move from block to block.
And there's been this trend that we see where we go into an area, we clean it up, we stabilize it, and then a lot of the people that are causing problems and havoc, particularly as it relates to the drug market, go to another neighborhood. That day is over. To stop this whack-a-mole thing that we're seeing when drug dealers and users go from one community to the next when they get pressure. This pressure will not stop.
Well, Chief Scott went on to say that some of the people arrested overnight might be released, others might remain in custody, but he says the bottom line is that the city will take action. The announcement of the overnight raid came during a news conference celebrating a successful Chinese New Year and All-Star Weekend. Mayor Lurie says the weekend was a major win.
The eyes of the world were on San Francisco, and we rose to the occasion like we always do.
Lurie gave credit to local public safety agencies for the safest Chinese New Year weekend in the city since 2017. He says despite thousands of surplus visitors in town for the NBA's All-Star Weekend celebration, crime was down 30% compared to last year. Lurie's announcement echoes increased optimism that the annual City Beat poll found amongst people who live in San Francisco. Nearly half say the city is heading in the right direction. But as Kelsey Thorud reports, there is still one big issue that needs to be addressed.
More San Franciscans believe the city is now heading in the right direction. That's according to poll results released by the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber's been doing this poll, asking the same questions for 36 consecutive years. This year, they are actually trending to the positive. And so for 2 years in a row, we're starting to see people see favorability and the belief in the trust in San Francisco.
Rodney Fong is the president and CEO of the Chamber. He says the polling shows 43% of San Franciscans believe the city is on the right track. That's up close to double from last year when only 22% of residents had the same feeling.
This voter confidence in these polls coming back. We're seeing small businesses open here in San Francisco, and the nightlife is starting to pick back up.
A huge focus for those polled remains on downtown. 89% of San Franciscans agreed that a thriving downtown is critical to the region's economy, with 87% saying improving or transforming underused malls and stores should be a top priority.
I feel pretty optimistic about this area, and Market Street looks amazing. I feel safer now walking down Market Street.
I think a lot of people are trying to move things in the right direction, but we have a ways to go for consistency, I think, across the city.
I would say a bunch of the return to office mandates have helped, just kind of like to make things more lively. But yeah, I think it's still not where it was in 2019.
While the numbers are looking up, the fact remains that a majority of San Franciscans, 56%, still believe the city is on the wrong track. Rodney Fong says he understands the lingering frustration with the city's recovery post-COVID, but truly believes a brighter future is on the horizon.
It's this whole cycle, this whole ecosystem is so important to keep them going. Built the construction of housing, the transportation investments all need to keep firing. And once we get off kilter, off cycle, tough things can happen. And so we have to make sure we're thinking 10 years out and keeping the machine going.
Other news we are following around the Bay. Caltrain service is back to normal after a big rig crash caused some major delays this morning. At about 5 a.m. near Sierra Point Park, a big rig knocked out power from San Francisco to South City. According to Caltrain, the accident knocked a fence onto overhead power lines and spilled 160 gallons of fuel onto southbound 101. Caltrain says all trains will now run every 30 minutes, making all local stops. The Oakland Unified School Board voted to cut jobs, tackling a $95 million budget deficit. As many as 150 jobs will be impacted. Layoff notices need to go out before March 15th. The budget needs to be finalized by June. A strike at UCSF and other UC medical centers in California is expected to interrupt some patient services. UCSF says even though it is bringing in replacement staff, some appointments and procedures might have to be rescheduled. Today is day 2 of the 3-day strike at UCSF and other campuses. The labor dispute is mainly about staffing issues and increases in healthcare premiums. First alert weather now. Another beautiful day on tap around the Bay before things start to change. Here's meteorologist Jessica Birch.
We still have more unsettled weather in the forecast as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, too. It'll start to taper off as we head into late next week, but this does lead up into the next 6 to 10 days. Our rainfall outlook issued by the Climate Prediction Center highlights the whole West Coast with wetter than normal conditions forecasted for us. So as we take a look at the next 7 days, this paints the picture pretty well. I mean, above average conditions today, cool conditions into this weekend, and those rain clouds start to roll in from offshore Saturday evening into Sunday morning. As we head into next week, Monday and Tuesday will look very similar with on and off showers expected. I'll keep you updated with those rainfall totals, but for now, I'm going to send it over to you.
Thanks, Jess. Right now, President Trump meeting with the UK Prime Minister at the White House to discuss Europe's role in ending Russia's war in Ukraine. He says that he is in D.C. to convince the president to support European leaders in their efforts to end the war. At the start of his visit, he presented Trump an unprecedented invite from the king for a second state visit. President Trump said he will impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting next Tuesday. The new levies will apparently cover all products coming in from those countries. Trump previously threatened tariffs of 25% on Canada and Mexico, but then held off. He's also planning on doubling the existing 10% tariffs on all imports from China. He claims the import taxes will force these countries to crack down on the trafficking of illicit drugs. It is an emotional day for former workers at the U.S. Agency for International Development. They had to clear out their workspaces and walk out of the agency's now closed Washington headquarters. Some peeled the black tape off the sign outside, and some were brought to tears.
I just wanted them to know that I appreciated the 20 years that we spent together protecting the American people from deadly pandemic diseases and ensuring that people throughout the world understood that America is great because America is good.
Now, this comes as the Trump administration slashes foreign aid. CBS News confirmed a nearly 90% cut in foreign aid contracts, totaling nearly $60 billion. While the USAID has been a key target for President Trump's downsizing, the administration is giving all government agencies about 2 weeks to submit plans for reorganization and prepares for what it calls large-scale reduction in force or mass layoffs. The new memo notes that agencies should look at duplication and positions that are non-critical. Elon Musk, the Department of Government Efficiency's top advisor, has not put a number on the coming layoffs. Unions say so far the firings have been reckless. Sad news out of the world of entertainment today. Actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and his dog all found dead inside their home in New Mexico. No foul play is suspected. As police investigate, Hackman won 2 Oscars for Best Actor in The French Connection in 1972 and Best Supporting Actor in Unforgiven in 93. His career spanned 5 decades and included 79 movies. Gene Hackman was 95. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News.
Meet the man behind a San Mateo County coastside farm program that wraps its arms around people living with homelessness. That story coming up.
And here is another live look outside before we head to break. It is a gorgeous day out there before the rain comes back. Might want to get out and enjoy it. We'll be right back. California's largest home insurer is appealing to the state insurance commissioner to greenlight an emergency 22% rate hike. State Farm says it expects to pay more than $7.5 billion to settle claims from the LA wildfires last month. The insurance commissioner says he plans to make a decision in a couple of weeks. All right, back to our first alert weather now. Taking a live look outside. This is from our camera on Mount Diablo. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
It's another warm day for us here in the Bay Area with daytime highs today topping off in the 80s from Fremont all the way over into San Jose. Today, we're warming up into the upper 70s, anywhere from Redwood City all the way up into areas like Santa Rosa, too. Warm for us this afternoon, putting us about 10 to 15 degrees above average. But right around the corner, we cool down quick as we head into this weekend, back into the upper 50s and lower 60s. And here's the reason why. We have another cold front sweeping in from offshore, heading into our weekend forecast. I'm advancing the clock all the way into Friday, which is partly cloudy skies in the forecast. Saturday, the clouds become more dense. And by Saturday evening into the early morning hours on Sunday, we get that batch of showers that will sweep in from offshore with on and off showers expected throughout Sunday afternoon. Now, we could also see some snow in the Sierra, too, from this exact same system. So keep that in mind if you're planning on heading up there that way. Make sure you have the chains ready to go. And, of course, you're just taking it slow out there on the roads. Now, we still have unsettled weather from Monday until next Wednesday in the forecast, too. That matches up with what the Climate Prediction Center is showing, with wetter than normal conditions throughout the next 6 to 10 days. Now, this leads us into the first couple days and weeks of March. And as we take a look at the next 7 days right here behind me, notice that big shift in the forecast. We're still dealing with above average temperatures today and tomorrow, but it drops quickly into the 60s and upper 50s by Saturday, heading into Sunday, with on and off showers expected still as we head into next week, too. Now, you head over into the Bay, we're seeing a very similar trend anywhere from San Francisco over into the East Bay. We're going to be seeing daytime highs sit in the mid 70s, quickly turning into cooler conditions by next week.
More than 2,000 people in San Mateo County are dealing with homelessness. According to the city's annual count, that is an 18% increase over the last few years. But now a coastside nonprofit founder is working to bring those numbers down. Sharon Chin introduces us to this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner.
This and Curtis said we're shooting for 1 seed in each cell.
Yeah. As people learn how to plant seeds to grow lettuce, Eric DeBoat is sowing seeds of hope in their lives.
Each person is so interesting, so resilient, so strong, so full of potential.
Eric helps people living with homelessness get back on their feet through Abundant Grace Coastside Worker, the nonprofit he started 10 years ago in Half Moon Bay.
I want people to feel like they're valuable, they're worth something, and they have a future.
Eric's nonprofit partners with Potrero Nuevo Farm south of Half Moon Bay in a workforce development program. Unsheltered folks learn how to plant, tend, and harvest fruits and vegetables. What they grow, they give away. They gave 13,000 pounds of organic produce last year to 300 people in need.
I'm just going to set these here for now, and we'll just gather.
Curtis Kuchavla says serving others gives him a sense of purpose he hadn't felt in a long time.
That gives you a reason to be proud, and then working here on the farm, growing vegetables, and being able to give that to other folks, it helps a lot.
Eric helps about 125 unhoused people a year rake in a sense of self-confidence and community. While some work on the farm, others do coastal cleanups. They earn a stipend for their 4-day work week, and they gain experience that's helped a dozen people last year land jobs outside the nonprofit. Eric also supplies a home base that includes showers, laundry, kitchen, food, clothing, and support for much more.
Everyone's on a journey of healing and wholeness with their life, whether that's around housing, employment, sobriety, mental and physical health. Those are all the issues that are on the table here.
Some people that are...
Curtis says his whole life has changed. He was living in his car, and then Eric came alongside and helped him find work, housing, and hope.
I'm grateful to him because he saved my life. I was about ready to throw the towel, and because I had nowhere to go.
Potrero Nuevo Farm manager Susie Trexler says Eric and Abundant Grace nurture folks with the supportive soil they need to bloom.
He just wants to help people succeed and grow and love themselves, and so he loves people unconditionally, and it's a beautiful thing that is really rare to see in action.
It makes me really happy, particularly when people find housing or a job or get sober, because they're really making an important change for their health and their well-being.
So for giving San Mateo County's unhoused community work and support through Abundant Grace Coastside Worker, this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award goes to Eric DeBode.
If you'd like to nominate your own local hero for a CBS News Bay Area Icon Award, just go to our website, kpix.com. Coming up, an out-of-this-world announcement from one of CBS's own. So this is pretty wild. CBS Mornings co-host Gayle King is set to blast off to the boundary of space with some famous friends. King, who recently turned 70, announced that she's going to be taking part in Blue Origin's historic all-female crew, expected to launch this spring, soaring alongside her pop star Katy Perry, philanthropist Lauren Sanchez, engineer Aisha Bowe, civil rights activist Amanda Wynn, and film producer Carrie Ann Flynn. Gayle discussed the big news on CBS Mornings.
I have to tell you, I'm so afraid.
Stop, Gayle.
I am. I'm so afraid, but I'm also so excited about it. When they asked me, and they asked me around Thanksgiving, I was like, no. Then I started thinking about it. I met with favorite daughter Kirby, favorite son Will, Oprah. That's my kitchen cabinet. They will all be there that day with their spouses. And I just thought, what a unique opportunity.
This mission is going to be the 11th human flight for Jeff Bezos' space company, Blue Origin. It says its program has flown 52 people to the boundary of space so far. Still ahead, what the birthday girl wants, the birthday girl gets. We're going to tell you about this lovely lady's wish as she celebrates 105 years. A spunky senior had one wish for her 105th birthday, a rave at her residential care home in England. Strobe lights, glow sticks, even a local rapper lit up Hilda's birthday bash with her friends and family.
You never think you're going to make 105, but I did, and you've got to accept it. You can't knock yourself out.
Hilda said she loved every minute of it, enjoyed getting on the dance floor for a bit of a jig. Also like to say happy birthday to my mom today, Mary Makovic. No rave for her. She's not cracking 100, but happy birthday. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.